I enjoyed that trip. It's a little much. Yeah, it was a trip.
About 30 years.
Marty! Where are you, Marty? Einstein! Hey, where did all those Burger King wrappers come from? Come on. Marty, where are you? Einstein, where are you? I think the flux capacitor works.
Oh, there you are.
There you are.
I was wondering where you
I
were.
was worried about you.
Hey, great to see you. How you doing? Hey, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
Where did you go to London before you came here? Because I'm a little bit confused by your accent, Doc.
Well, as a scientist, you know what it's like.
I do know what it's like. It's the truth. So I gotta tell you, what happened? Did we have a backfire with the flux capacitor?
I don't know.
I don't know about you. It felt like a mule kicked me right in the ribs.
It did, but I think we hit 88 miles an hour. And how many gigawatts was it?
Wow, nice job. We were paying attention. Because I didn't even know that all the way. But where are we right now?
I don't know. Should we ask someone? Where are we? What year is it?
2018?
Hang on a second. It was 1989. There was a film coming out 4 weeks before, and
Before V1 came out, right?
with Ray Ossie.
That as well.
Right.
Jeez. Well, I got a question for you. If it's really 2018, then who's the president? Who's the president? We don't have a president. I'm from Massachusetts, so that's a little bit scary. But no, I was under the impression that real estate guy, Donald Trump, was the president. So if Donald Trump's the president, then
So, Marty, who's the first lady?
Madonna? Could be Madonna. And the vice president is who?
I don't know. Eddie Murphy?
Eddie Murphy is the vice president. We're definitely back in the future. The story tangles. But no, we wanted to thank all of you for coming. This is likely going to be our last Back to the Future bit, just so everybody knows. I think we're going to retire our outfits and maybe hand them down to some other people, maybe some folks over at Red Pill, you never know. But we're obviously excited to be here. Hey, keep your clothes on, Andy. We don't want to go that far. But look, you know, I think for us, first I'm happy to be at an event in the U.S., so we're not traveling abroad, and happy to see such a large crowd, and many of the faces that we continue to see, whether it's at Engage or DNUG, or we held a private event about a week and a half ago at the CWP factory tour, for those of you who were able to attend, and so we're looking forward to today and the next couple days of reinvigorating our base and getting people excited about what we're doing at ACL and the partnership that we have with IBM.
Yeah, I must admit, when you and I were sitting you and I were sitting down thinking about we wanted to bring back the wow. I didn't know the clothes were going to be part of it, right? But yeah, we want to have a little bit more fun. Do you want to have more fun? Yeah.
We're big believers at ACL of we work hard, but we play harder at times as well.
So how many of you went to one of the jams that we had? Well, we're going to have more jams, right? Were they fun? Yeah. All right. So, I mean, you know, a couple of things will come through in this particular presentation, and Jason's going to join us up on stage.
I will join us on stage. They wanted me to dress up as Einstein the dog. I drew the line after having to be an Oompa Loompa.
Is it really a line? Let's be honest.
Not really.
But what you'll see through the presentation, the reason why we have Jason here, Jason's actually going to show you stuff. And it's going to be something you're going to see about a Domino query language. And John Curtis is here. Where's John? Is John somewhere? All right, so you can actually see a lot more of it. So we tried to make it very much about show you and prove to you what's actually happening through this. And I'm really glad to say is we got lots of great feedback about what you wanted in the product. It was good validation. There were lots of great additional things, right, Richard, that we knew that we needed to deliver. And you know, beta 1 is actually going on right now. And there will be another beta 2 very shortly. So if you want to add to that.
Yeah, no, I think, look, first we're super excited about, we made a commitment to all of you and to the rest of our customers and partners that we would deliver the first beta for Domino Notes in about 6+ years. And we had targeted the June timeframe, and we're pushing the team, to say the least, to get it out in June. And hopefully many who've accessed it have actually tried it. And so far, you know, look, it is a beta, so we acknowledge that there are some constraints on it. But so far the feedback's very, very, very positive. And so we are targeting our beta 2 for about the 3rd week of August. So you see us continue to amp it up a little bit more. You know, we're hard pressed to keep on adding as many features as we can while balancing quality at the same time. So lots of work done, but as I said to the team just last week was, we're going to just keep on stepping forward, right? And the last couple of weeks have been nothing more than a couple more steps in the right direction, and we're in that mode of we need to prove it again, right? So as Andrew noted, we're all about showing what we built. And so that's some of the things that Jason's going to show you guys. So you'll actually see live code up and running today from us, as well from John, as well as from Barry and Pat as well. So we're big believers of less PowerPoint, more actual demos, and more code.
All right.
And now we're going to have the slide.
The demo's coming.
There is a demo. Trust me, there is a demo, right?
Absolutely.
So I remember the three of us sat in Chelmsford and we went through thinking, we had all this great feedback, we got this big spreadsheet and all this input from you, and we categorized into these different areas. But what came through very loud and clear were these 3 areas. And literally, you know, we finished the last jam on January the 19th, and then within 2 weeks we were in Chelmsford, then decomposing it down into these 3 major themes, which I think now have actually resonated very well. Each session we do, we've been diving into each one of those. So if you don't hear about it at the event here, check out Destination Domino. There's webcasts, there's going to be more of that information. And I know because of the tour, there'll be a lot more information coming out where you can get to know what's coming, as well as, how many people have signed up for Beta 2, by the way?
Right, more the better.
Yep. So you'll actually get to...
So one thing, I think, before we move on this, so one thing that we as a team have really thought hard about, and one of the core tenets for us from an HCL and IBM perspective around V10 and V11 is, let's get back to what made Domino great, right? And so that's kind of part of why you see this back to the future theme that we're actually kind of doing here. But our belief is that Domino was the first low-code platform out there, right? And if anybody takes a step back and they look at the low-code market and what's happening around app development, about a $16 billion market for all of us actually to start to penetrate again. So for us, it is all about, let's get back to the roots, let's get back to what made Domino great, and that's back to the Domino platform and the investments we're making on these three themes. Yeah.
And you see that coming through when we start talking about version 11 specifically, right?
Exactly.
And I know there's a lot of people focused on understanding what version 11 is already, which is tremendous. So this slide, dovetailing into exactly the point that Richard was making, is that when I came to this business April last year, I was so impressed, having come from other database and application development environments as well as analytics, is there are 28 ways to do something with Domino, even though people thought of 6 originally. So, I mean, it's clear we have, across the spectrum from the left to the right, we have a whole bunch of people using different types of environments to build applications. And as Richard mentioned, the low-code space is where we invented that space a number of years ago, right? That's where we came from. And in fact, in talking to analysts, the ones who really understand our story, they actually recognize that. So, we want to continue to take you on this journey with Lotus Script. If you're a high-code developer with JavaScript, we want to take you on that journey too. And we believe there's lots of value with Domino in a JavaScript environment. Right? The trick is articulating to those folks what the value proposition of Domino is in that environment. And that's where we're going to solicit your support in that.
So I'll add a couple of things, Andrew. You've highlighted around the formula language, and we all love the formula language, but I want to call out something that we're doing in 10 that realistically we haven't done in 10 years, and that is add things to Lotus Script. And I will say what they are. There are 4 significant things. John's going to show you some of the query stuff as well, which is super exciting, but there are 4 really important things we're adding to Lotus Script. Get, post, put, delete. So all of your existing agents out there, your workflow, your code that's living inside client-side notes, it can all reach out and work with web services. So, very exciting stuff.
Thank you. We'll touch on that. Again, sure.
You're not doing the dog.
Sorry, you're not doing the dog?
No, I was saying we've got Einstein up here now, so he's going to dress as a dog the next time.
Yeah, we're done with that, right? Anyway, I thought we agreed to
See how much fun you get, guys.
We'll turn it up to 11 next time.
Yeah, I'm just not sure who the bass player is, the lead singer. We'll figure that out. Yeah, so one of the things that Jason and I put together this slide originally, right, and then we sort of subsequently color-coded it, is really to say is that, we talk about this journey going back to the roots around application development, but it sort of means bringing everything along, bringing the experience of developers, it means bringing platform, it means bringing mail, but it also means that there's things that we have to fundamentally do. And, I think the thing that we've talked about is, since the platform was built, a lot of things have moved on. A lot of things are out there today that frankly we don't need to build in the same way anymore, right, Jason? We can just co-opt that and leverage that in the platform itself.
Absolutely, and there are a couple of things you can see on here, including Elasticsearch, the eSearch, that we're going to be bringing into and further embedding into the platform so that you can do some amazing search capabilities with it. We're also talking about next generation NSF. So that's with that NSF2 that I'm sure everyone's going, what are they doing there? But I think you're going to find we're doing a lot of things around graph and evolving that NSF container for it to be able to. But we're also going to start being a little more open, and I'm going to call out 2 examples of where we're going to be a little bit more open as we evolve the platform. In 1998, it was December 98 or early 99, when 5 came out, we elected to create a separate client, Domino Designer. I've been talking to a few of you about it since I sat down here. And what we're really looking to do now is IDEs have stabilized in a number of different vendors and platforms, and those platforms, while they used to just support, for example, Visual Studio only supported the Microsoft stuff, that world doesn't exist anymore. So we're going to start supporting other IDEs for you to build amazing applications in the Domino platform. The second thing I want to call out about openness, and you can see it up here, is mail standards. So you're going to see us supporting things like EWS, which is Exchange Web Services, by the way, which is what Outlook uses, Exchange. iCal, we're going to really finish embedding all our support and diverse in other areas, but CardDAV, CalDAV, all these modern, thank you, I'll be here all week. So we're going to start being far more open in the ways we allow you to leverage and utilize the investment you have in the Domino platform.
And a great example of that, actually, just building on that point, Jason, is OAuth, right? It really enables us, when you build an application and you want to integrate it with Amazon or Facebook or Salesforce or anything else and have a single sign-on experience, that's the way you're going to do it and embed it. And that will be all the ones actually in the color, that dark color, are all part of version 10. Now, not the graph part, but there's something special about NSF too.
Oh no, we're doing some things in the NSF,
What?
even in Domino 10. One is obviously the limits that have increased.
There's also this.
Dum dum dum.
So this gives us, this actually gives us a query language that you can actually use within inside the Domino database. And Jason will talk to specifically what does that mean in an OGS environment, but it actually gives you some really powerful types of capabilities for you to extend your application and build more functional apps using JavaScript. But as you see from the second line is, you can use it from any API, you can use it from Lotus Script, you can build it into your agents to run jobs to do things.
You can run it from a bash prompt anywhere and execute. Yeah.
So rather than, do you like that? Do you like it? All right, so let's ask Jason to come up because.
Okay. Yes.
So we're going to show you something now.
So I have a video of it.
Are you
right?
ready?
I do, and I can talk to it from anywhere. And I just want you to see how quickly it works. So here you can see it. Right? We've got a requirement of our node implementation. Here's the query. We're querying Detroit. You can see it right there. There's the item names that we're looking for. Really simple, very powerful query language. Here you can see the actual query. And what I want you to see is how blessedly fast this query will actually run and work. And notice it's a pretty complicated query. You've got part numbers, you've got date origins, you've got all sorts of different requirements around this query that would take a long time to construct in something like Lotus Script and then execute. Now watch it run, boom, done.
Ooh.
Ah. This is the largest work that has been done on core Domino in 10 years. Thousands of lines of code.
Okay, I think that 2,000 isn't good enough, right? It's actually...
It's like 10,000.
It's a crisp what?
Yeah, it's 10,000 lines of code. Yeah. And John is here, did a lot of work on, almost all the work on this, just a phenomenal job on creating this, and we're going to continue to invest in this as well. So right now we're focusing on databases and database specific, but you're going to see us focusing more and more broadly, server-based, domain-based. Now, the reason this works so quickly is that we have created a whole new implementation, obviously in C, and then we've exposed these things using gRPC. So we have a whole new remote procedure call implementation that is not in RPC, which is a very chatty protocol. I think everybody knows that. We are now using gRPC, and so that's why you're seeing this thing just ludicrously fast. So.
All right, so just, we're going to sort of pivot into a little bit more of a conversation about app dev. We've started opening up that kimono. Just I wanted to remind everyone that we have a community server out there. And also, I want to continue to open up the kimono and ask to solicit your input. We got a lot of feedback, in fact, during the jams, a lot of it about functionality, and there are a lot of things about go-to-market. And we've spent a lot of time trying to fix the product stuff and innovate. We've tried to fix the marketing stuff and also innovate as well. So if there are things from a pricing and packaging standpoint that you'd like to see us address, let myself and the other IBM and CEO know, because we'd like to get your feedback, right? Because the world has moved on, and if there are better ways to license and price these things, we'd love to be able to do that. All right. So How many of you would like to be able to run your Notes app on your smart tablet device? Oh, it's quite a few, right? So we realized very early on, right, Richard, that being able to run those apps in those mobile form factors, you know, the smartphones and the smart tablets was going to be really essential. But one size doesn't fit all. You need a couple of different approaches based upon where you are in your maturity curve of your applications and also your skill sets. But I think the core thing that we wanted to enshrine in anything we did in the mobile space is make it easy, make it fast, and make it seamless. So enable you to extend the reach and the value of existing applications today, require little or no investment or new skills to be able to run them, and give you the option to move them forward. And you know, as we talked about this strategy, a lot of people have got very excited about it. So one of those elements, and there's a couple of elements to this strategy. The first element is we've been working very closely with a company called Team. Where's Tila? Oh, there he is. Hey, Tila, come here. Hey, Tila.
This is technology, it's not TV.
Oh, okay. I apologize. There you go. Because what we recognized with the work that Tila was doing, how many people are familiar with their product Teamwork?
Oh, amazing.
Yeah, fantastic. Is that it really offered a really rapid way to take an existing Domino app and make it available as an HTML interface on the desktop or a mobile device, just like that. I mean, it really is quite stunning, right? So, you know, it's our intent that, you know, we're you know, getting closer together to make it easier for everyone to have access to this particular product, right? So we'll give you more news about that's actually happening, what our plans are together soon. Can't announce anything today, but it's our intent. But Tilo actually has a special offer for you today. Tilo.
Yeah, thank you to be your guest here. And please excuse my English, it's not that good. So I try to read it, it's very easy. We do a special offering. We have a free trial version for 30 days with unlimited application and user on your server, just to try it out if you want to have it and try it out on your server, because I can say a lot and you won't believe me, so try it out on your environment and test it for free. Or, and this is a special offer, you can have an unlimited time and users application for one of your applications by using Teamworker. It's very easy, just go to teamworker.com. And we do it the IBM style, removing the E. So it's teamworker.com, you know, quicker and all the other stuff. So we don't call it teamworker.com. And there at the bottom you can get your trial license. Just drop us an email. Okay, thank you.
Andrew, just to jump in a little bit, I think this is a good example of where the partnership with IBM and HCL really drove a couple major things. I think the first thing for me was we realized that we need to do an evaluation of what's core to the skill sets we have, to the areas that we're focused, and what is context to that. Many of you partners here bring skills and products that frankly HCL doesn't have and IBM does not have. So I think this is one example of many where we want to continue to invest and partner and reinvigorate that partner ecosystem. And then if we jump to the next slide, it gives you a sense of where we're going also from a core perspective, right? And so we heard loud and clear from a mobility view and experience that the iPad was an area that we needed to invest in. So many of you have already heard of Nomad, which is the name of the product that we've established at HCL. This is our first version of this. You will see investments in Droid, and then you'll see investments in your actual mobile phone as well. A little bit more work on the mobile phone based on formatting, so that's coming out later, post 10. But this has been, you know, really popular for many of our customers, many of our partners, and frankly for many of us as well. And this was a large area of focus immediately when the partnership was done. So we literally took a couple squads from an Agile perspective and had them working on that within about 2 weeks of the partnership moving. We had compilable, demoable code within 2 months. It gives you a sense of how fast and how hard we're pushing the team, and we expect our velocity to get better and better as we go along here, so we can drive even more features for all of you.
So Richard actually mentioned that we did. So Richard mentioned that we've been to all these events, and every single place we go to when we talk about this, we get a rousing applause for it. Because people really understand what they can do with it. And I'm continually reminded by the salespeople coming to me saying, oh, I've got this opportunity, this X company, right? Now what I'm starting to see is not just the person saying, all right, I don't need to redevelop my Notes app. It's like, oh, customers have got this other environment, but they really would like to prefer to do it on Notes, on Domino, and actually do it on the iPad. So that, for me, that's exciting. The people are recognizing the value.
It is. So at the factory tour, 10 days ago, or what it was, the very first app that was specifically written, even though Nomad will run any Notes Domino app, within reason, things that don't have native DLLs don't work, obviously. The very first specific app was written by Theo and team, and the entire app was designed to manage your wine collection.
Priorities, it's about priorities, right?
He was focused.
Yes, he was very focused. I also understand the bar bill was pretty extensive too, right? So let's pivot to the next part. So we talked about moving to the right-hand side of that slide, which is really around no-code or low-code and developing the new with Domino developers. And also, in this case, more in the high-code context. So from a Node.js perspective, why did we do this? I mean, we've done webinars about this. Check it out on Destination Domino on the blog. But there are a number of reasons, and I had the good fortune of sitting on the first part of Tim Davis's session here. This is a very exciting space, right? There's lots of great opportunities for extending the value of your applications. There's also some great ways to tap into all of these libraries and skills which are out there to augment what you're doing today. This is really about taking the value of Domino and taking it to a new space. But there's two sides to this coin, right? It's, as Jason was talking about, thinking about, where do we take the design of how do you build applications in Domino? This is also about how do we bring the value of Domino to the Node.js community. So one thing I would sort of challenge you to work with us and work with HCL on is, let's articulate that value. Let's show people what you can do with the combination of those two things together so that the Node and JS JavaScript community understand what they can do with our platform. Because we've got a lot of value, we've got a lot of applications, we've definitely got a lot of skill here that can build the next generation of applications in this high-code environment.
And again, back to being open, we are actively working with the Node.js Foundation and their leadership team to bring Domino 10 as part of the platforms that they actually discuss within their website, within the demonstrable things that the Node.js Foundation does. So, pretty exciting stuff. I'll add one more thing that at least describes to you how we have implemented Node.js. And as a demonstration, I think I did it in Dino. We took an existing Node.js out on NPM, brought the app into the Node environment, and we changed its persistence layer, how it stored the databases, by literally removing one line that implemented Mongo and implementing and changing it to DominoDB, and it just worked. And that's our goal, because there are millions of Node.js processes, APIs, backend systems that interface with virtually anything you can imagine that now all can be leveraged within Domino. Really exciting stuff.
Yes, it is. And our goal is to get Domino into those events, right, where all those developers congregate and teach them how to use Domino, right? Because it's going to... Sorry? You like that crazy talk?
So you telling me that I look a little crazy already?
Obviously, you did not see me dressed up as an Oompa Loompa.
Well, I was thinking of Dino. Do you remember that building that we're in? Right? The lower level of the building was the Domino conference, Dino. The next level up was the JavaScript conference. It's about time we sort of co-mingled the group, right? Yeah. All right. So on that theme, we know Mongo has this mean stack, right? That sounds awfully mean, right? Well, but we've got nerd. You're nerds, right? Right? So if you put the combination of Domino with React and Express and Node together, you have a pretty powerful combination, and that's what we're saying is there is valid reasons why in business today you can use that. And it's our responsibility in IBM is to give you the air cover, give the CIOs, the decision makers, the proof point to say why we need to continue to invest in Domino, because it's a great platform.
Besides, it's a great acronym.
Node? That's a word.
Yeah, nerd. Incidentally, this line, this is real. This actually exists. And for those of you at the factory tour, you actually got to use it. So this actually does work. It will be available. And that's it. That's how you use Domino for Node. And right now, we're working on Domino DB as a package that's going to give you access to all the capabilities around the NSF database. Next, we're going to do mail. We're going to do calendar. And we're going to do design. You'll be able to create a form for him, of you, anything. Yeah.
All right, so let's, conscious that we don't want to run over in time here. So Richard was alluding to our bold, hairy, audacious goal, which is the thing at the top left there, right? You know, we want to be the platform, not the database, but the platform that those business users turn to and you turn to build the next generation of applications. And because of the strength of the architecture, you should be able to build something, anyone should be able to build it, and you should be able to deploy it and use it anywhere, right? You know, what's sort of interesting to me, you know, we all sat down, we had a meeting with Dion and Al Krosky last week.
At Constellation.
Constellation. And when you start looking at those low-code vendors out there, and you start looking at the capabilities, we've got some amazing strengths, right? That were in the product from day one, and what our job is to amplify and focus and bring those to the core. So this is why in version 10 here, we're being bullish about engaging with the business or citizen developer, as well as keeping the march on, improving total cost of ownership, improving the openness around mail, and also reporting as well.
I think the compelling thing for you to know about V11 as well is we're obviously right in the throes of developing V10 and working our way through betas and fixing bugs and then normal software development. Right around at the tail end of August, we'll already be working on V11. So it gives you a sense of how important that release is for us. But we will be running both versions in parallel for a period of time. But I thought it'd be good for all of you to realize that in less than 4 weeks, we'll already be focusing on V11. We also have plans where we want to do similar to what we did with V10, where we have workshops where we meet with all of you and we give you some insights into what we're doing, and then we hear from you on what should we be building for V11, right? And it'll be an iterative process for us where we're actually listening and building and adjusting and building and adjusting and building. And so for me, I think that the team from a development perspective is really excited about kind of wiping their hands a little bit about V10 and being okay where we hit that goal. But the message they've received loud and clear from Jason and Andrew and I is we've just started, right? We have literally just started. So V11 will be moving very quickly and you'll see results, and we'll be showing you right around when V10 gets released some of the great things that we've already targeted for it.
Absolutely. I was sitting at the table with Richard and team, and I heard a phrase about this conference, that this is a family. Yes. Would everybody agree with that? Yeah. So as Richard was talking about those jams, this is our product. Our product. Come to the jams. Don't just help us make it better. Help make our product better, our family's product better.
That's a great point, Jason. And to that point, it's perfect. You sort of knew what the next slide was. So I think it's sort of fair. I mean, the jams that we did were very engaging. People had a lot of fun doing it, and we got a lot of great insights. And I think we'll continue to do those, but I think we're going to refine how we do them, right? So we got some feedback. We did the first V11 jam. We did the first one of the tour, which was great input. But we also announced at the same time that we put out, and Adam mentioned this, but on domino.ideas.aha.io, this is where you go to put all of your enhancement and your bug requests, your fix requests out there. And today it's taken off like a rocket.
Well, no bugs. You don't put bugs up there.
No bugs.
There's a process for that. Don't follow that. Yeah, we got a clear process on bugs. Sorry.
But what I think what we're basically saying is one of the commitments that we made when we started doing the jam is we want to open up as many communication channels as possible to get your feedback and input on the product. We're just adding another one to the whole mix here, right? The thing that we want to make sure is it's clear. Get your inputs. Let's, as Jason was saying, we're doing this together, right? You help us. What we're providing in a way is we're providing a backbone, a framework. We're telling you where we're going, and sometimes it's yes, sometimes it's not now, right? But we want to do it, and sometimes it's like, is that core to the mission that we're trying to achieve that we've clearly set out here?
Sorry, and you know, I do want to give kudos a little bit to Andrew and to Ufi, who's here as well. You know, I can tell you in the last 6 months, I've seen more from a marketing perspective, a communications perspective, than I saw in the 2 years I was at IBM. And I think a lot of that has to do with the partnership that we've been able to drive. And frankly, I think that the teams are working so well together right now that you're going to see more and more from this rolling thunder communication strategy that we've put forward. And this, again, is just one step forward today, tomorrow, and then you're going to hear more and more from us on a regular cadence. So more to come on that for sure.
So do you like rolling thunder? So we're at CollabSphere, you know, the bus touchdown. We're glad to be here, and we'll be taking the tour minus the gear, right, Tim, at the back, minus this gear.
Oh, yeah. We've got new gear for you, Andy.
Yes, I know you've got a new outfit for Richard and I. So I know what mine is. I don't.
See what we started? We got from Back to the Future to really want
to trust me, it's not Back to the Future, right, Tim?
No, it's not.
All right, so we'll continue this mix of this face-to-face event. We also have some other webcasts coming up. We've got one on Domino Apps on Cloud coming up very shortly. At the end of August, Rich and I will be doing another webcast to give us State of the Nation. And then in September, we will be in Birmingham in the UK. A couple of things just keep happening, Richard. I don't know what happens here.
I still feel like somebody planted that seed. How many of you know the register? I mean, right? So not always the nicest, right? I mean, let's be honest. They're pretty tough. This article, I don't know if all of you saw this, but this came out, what, about a week ago?
July 16th.
Yeah, so not too long ago, right? I recommend taking a look at it, but again, this is, for us, we're continuing to try to gather as many proof points of the momentum that we're starting to push forward, right? And part of that message on a regular basis is Domino's alive. Loud and clear, right? Not only is it alive, but you should be well known, all of you should know, that we are investing heavily. So just a simple number for you guys to get a sense of. At HCL, since the partnership in less than 7 months, we've added 50 net new engineers, right? We have 33 offers additional out there right now, and we have about another 100 open recs that we're staffing for, not just, by the way, in India, in Manila, in the United States, as well as in India, but there's a balance there for us. But for me, I think that was the realization that HCL believes, right? And part of that was Jason and I were fortunate enough to present to the chairman of HCL And we actually spent about 7 hours with him. So, you know, in my 2 years at IBM, I think I got a couple emails from Ginny when her email wasn't working. You know, it was like, holy shit. That was, you know, the limited community.
She didn't have lunch with you?
No, but
Moving swiftly along.
yeah, sorry. Yeah, on that point, just to hear from our chairman of how important this project and product and portfolio is to him was just invigorating for all of us. So going back and telling our engineers that the chairman believes and that he wants us to keep pushing forward and he's going to continue to invest, that's the type of information that will drive an engineering team to do great things, right? And so I wanted you all to be aware that this isn't just PowerPoint. We're actually spending money and making investments as well.
He texted me Friday night at like 11:30 at night, said, I need you to go hire 50 more people. Go. Okay.
That's harder than you think.
Did anybody need a job?
Yeah, that's much harder than you think. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, it's all good. It's all good. So just a couple of other things, and you know, there's always a point in the presentation where there's something else, right? So, you know, the V10 launch is coming, right? You will find out about it very soon, okay? Details will be coming. We'll all be excited about that and sharing it. There's a couple of things I just want to point out is that we realized that, you know, we talked about version 11 during this conversation, we talked about version 10, but we also realized that, you know, there is the normal course of business, right, Richard? So I know you were sort of talking about point releases in between as well, right? Because,
Correct.
right.
So we'll be doing a release of Versa on-prem. Will be coming out. 1.04 will be coming out in about 2 weeks as well, in the August timeframe. There will be a new version of Versa on-prem in V10 as well, so there'll be additional features that will be added there. But we realize that we need to actually do some counter releases pretty quickly after version 10 comes out. So we're in the process of working through the timelines on how do we want to get that 10.001 or 10.1 out, and we'll be communicating that. And actually we'll be looking for your feedback on the timing and the cadence. But you know, our goal is to, one of the things we want to do is get all of our portfolio in sync on a single release cycle. So same time, that's coming very, very soon.
Yeah.
And notice there are 2 words Richard did not say. No more feature packs.
I mean, we understand how you want to consume the release, right? So we want to be pragmatic. How many people was either going to look at actually download and install version 10 or 10.01? Hopefully we can get the rest of these. All right, so one more thing, right? So another part of it isn't just about getting the release out. It's really thinking about what's important to us is adoption. Right? Actually adopting the release is very important to us and helping to smooth that process. So we have one more final thing to actually add to the discussion here, right, Richard?
Yeah, so we're excited that we have fully integrated and partnered with PanAgenda on one of our positions is that we believe in order to drive V10 success, we have to make it a seamless, simple experience. I think everybody's well aware of the Marvel client and the positive things that it brings. So we're in the process of working with the PanAgenda engineering team where you will have the ability to actually flip a single bit in Domino and actually engage the Marvel client. So there's one first step into our strategy of how to make it seamless. So thank you, Francie, and the rest of the team for your partnership.
All right, so
You have no excuse to upgrade to a .0 release now.
all right. Well, I want to thank everyone for participating in this general session here. It's been tremendous. As Jason said, you know, we're all a community here today, and we all want to win, right? We all want to win.
Yeah.
And we're going to do everything we can to take that course to not only your existing Domino customers, but outside to all decision makers, so people know what Domino is about and what the value is. So just keep monitoring the channel with Destination Domino and the blog. So if you've seen that, look out for the webcasts. And as Richard actually said, this is just the first installment. We're just getting started. there's more great things to come from the partnership of the two organizations. And we'd love to have you on the journey with us, in the bus, on the yellow bus, on the ride, all the way through Domino 2025. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much.